Hello, my lovely, lovely, lovely dreamers. I am happy to see you all again. Welcome or welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, I'm Christina and I make ASMR videos. I hope that you are having a wonderful day or evening or afternoon, wherever you are in this world. As you have voted on the community page, I will take that into account, of course, because you are the heart of this channel, and I will continue with a new true crime video every Sunday night, as I used to. This case has been suggested to me by one of my friends here on YouTube. Her name is Nobody's Wife ASMR, so thank you. Thank you for bringing this case into my attention. She sent me some links and some pictures. I think it was 2 months ago, and I was so curious to look into this case, and I looked for a while, but it seemed to be so complicated and so twisted. This is a really disturbing case, a really, really tragic one. All cases are tragic, but when it comes to children, it breaks your heart. I named my story Lori Vallow's case because everything seemed to be going around this woman. It's really hard for me to understand how a mother who was described as being a loving mother and caring one suddenly turned into a monster who took her children's lives. What kind of change took place inside her? What makes a woman forget about her instinct, which is the most powerful in this universe? Maternal love is one of the most powerful. And I have just watched Devil in Ohio. It's a series on Netflix, and somehow this series made me understand how deeply and profoundly someone could brain some other person's someone could wash some other person's brain. But still, I still don't understand. So let's get started. This story is really recent, and I don't know if I am going to tag use the ASMR tag in the title because I don't want to be considered disrespectful, and I also I'm going to tell this story using the soft voice for the same reason. So we have this lady called Lori Vallow, who for many years was a perfectly, to say so, normal, caring, loving mother, and all of a sudden something clicks and people surrounding her started to drop dead like flies. But the most heartbreaking thing is that she turned against her own children, and that is really something that's difficult to understand. I don't think that a person changes out of the blue. I think that something is broken inside someone from the beginning, and in certain circumstances, or when they meet the wrong person, that person succeeds to take out what's worst inside the other. So I don't think that she was, I think that she was brainwashed, but she liked being so, and she really had deeper problems. But let's see what's everything about, and let's go to the beginning of everything. So this lady, who, it's not relevant, but she is stunningly beautiful, that kind of cheerleader beauty, pageant beauty. She was born as Lori Noreen Cox on the 26th of June 1973 in California, USA. She had a normal childhood. She seemed to be happy. She was, of course, a cheerleader and pretty popular in her school years, thanks to her appearance, to her beauty. In 1992, she married her high school sweetheart, whose name was Nelson, and she was only 19 at the time. They were far too young, and the marriage ended in divorce. It didn't last too long. Shortly afterwards, their marriage ended very, very soon. She didn't stay single for a long time. When she was 22, she married her second husband, who was 23, and whose name was William. They married in Texas on the 22nd of October 1995. Together, of course, they had a son whose name is Colby, who was born in 1996. But this marriage also ended in divorce on February 1998. There was a third marriage. In 2001, Lori married another man called Joseph Anthony, and this man legally adopted Colby. They had a daughter together named Tylee, who was born in 2002. Joseph Anthony Ryan Jr., the third husband, filed for divorce on August 2004, and the divorce was finalized on 2005 in May. Lori's brother Alexander, who seemed to be really protective to his sister, attacked Ryan in a parking lot due to the fact that Lori had previously accused Ryan of being abusive to her and to the children. But this thing had never been proved to be true. So, due to this fact, and believing his sister Alexander attacked Ryan in a parking lot and threatened to murder him, and he was sentenced to 90 days in jail for this, which he served in Texas, Austin. Alexander is no longer alive. He died on the 12th of December 2019, and his death was attributed to natural causes. So he had very high blood pressure and blood clots, and according to this, he died from natural causes. So this was her third marriage. Again, on February 24th, 2006, Lori married another man named Leland Anthony Vallow. And he was known as Charles. So all his friends and relatives called him Charles. And it was said that for some years they had a normal and happy marriage. It seemed that Lori had finally found her soulmate. So So everything went really well for a while. It's important to know that Lori was a Mormon, and she was considered a very not spiritual, religious person. So the things went so well between them that in 2013, as a couple, they decided to adopt Charlie's grandnephew called Joshua Jackson Vallow, who was called JJ. So we have a big, happy family. Friends and relatives tell about Lori that she was a wonderful mother and wife. She was really dedicated to her family. She really loved children and took good care of them. But slowly she became interested in some religious books, and those books talked about afterlife and the end of the world, and about a theory according to which the end of the world was close, and there was a certain number of people who were chosen to live happily after, to say so, and the others were meant to vanish, to disappear. The author of these books split people in general in two categories: the white and the black somehow. So there were no grey people in his mind. Everything was with him, with his image of I don't think Jesus has nothing to do with this sick mind and the way in which this sick mind perceived God. So the author of these books imagined this image of God according to his imagination, and this God created by his mind was going to end the world very soon, and this very selective God will take only some persons, some chosen ones, and those chosen ones would be saved, and the rest of them are some sort of zombies that followed Lucifer. Don't come for me, it's not my theory. And Lori became really interested in these theories and strongly believed in them. And she had the chance to meet the author of these books. So it was around 2015 when Lori read this series of books written by Tammy Daybell. What a name, Daybell. And she became obsessed with them. I guess she found herself inside those books, otherwise I cannot explain. So Lori was still married to Charles Vallow. They were supposed, from the outside world, they had a happy marriage. Her husband converted to her religious beliefs, to her religion. And he had two sons from a previous marriage named Nicholas and Zachary. They moved to Hawaii, the whole family, in late 2014 and tried to run some sort of business. But they returned to Arizona. It didn't work, and they returned to Arizona in 2016. And Lori was really obsessed with those books. In the autumn of 2018, Lori and one of her good friends, let's name her M, attended an event where Lori finally met Chad for the first time, the author of the book. I know that there are a lot of husbands and a lot of names, and it's really puzzling, but so she is married to Charles, and she's interested in Chad's books and meets him for the first time in 2018. Okay. Something clicked between these two. They seem to be really attracted to each other, and Chad starting to tell Lori a lot of things that she really loved hearing, like the fact that they had been married in their previous lifetimes. She told Lori that she was some sort of powerful goddess, to say so, that had lived 21, if I remember properly, previous lives, 5 of each on earth, and that she is among those chosen by God to be saved and to begin communicating to each other in private, to say so. After this meeting, after his wife met Chad, had met Chad for the first time and started communicating to him, Lori's husband of that time, Charles, left town on a business trip, and Lori held some sort of gathering at her home during that night. It was her friend there, and of course Chad starting speaking, and all his attention was directed towards Lori, seemed to gravitate around her. And there he was in some else's home, talking about his religious beliefs and previous lives and chosen ones, about zombies, about light and dark people, about mysteries of God. So he referred, as I have told you, to the others as light or dark. And I strongly believe that the dark creatures, individuals, were from the earth, and they followed Lucifer and the light ones. I don't want again to mix Jesus' name into this. The light persons were followers of his image of God, to say so. Chad charmed Lori, telling her that she was an eternal being, that she lived only 5 of her lives on this planet. And of course Lori was really attracted to these things and became even more obsessed. So she forgot about her children, she forgot about her long marriage, about everything that was beautiful, and started to believe this nonsense. On December 5th, 2018, Chad and Lori appeared together on a podcast episode, and Chad later stayed at the Vallow residences in Arizona. Charles returned from one of his trips. He couldn't find his truck in the parking lot where he had left it, so she had to take a taxi to go back home. And when he arrived home, he found that his wife had changed the locks at the door and had taken a lot of money from the joint bank accounts. So Charles called the police, and he even stated that his wife had threatened to murder him, pretending to be a powerful goddess that was able to kill him with her powers. And he filed for an order of protection against Lori, being advised of his attorney. I think this man really feared for his life, and I think that she really seems to be out of control. And she really seems to be a crazy lady. Well, he also filed for divorce. But something happened on the 11th of July 2019. Lori Vallow was shot and killed in Arizona by, remember Alex, by Lori's brother, who, calling the police, claimed self-defense. Again, he confronted Charles about abusing his sister. And Alex pretended that he had been attacked by Charles and he acted in self-defense. And police did not pursue the matter further. Both JJ and Tylee had witnessed the incident. what's really strange, remember that Charles had 2 other children from a previous marriage, and Lori did not inform the family about this, and they had to learn about the news. And she had refused to answer their messages for a while, and when she finally answered, she didn't tell them what really happened. After Charles' death, his attorney stated that he was concerned for JJ's safety because he was a kid with special needs and needed a consistent type of routine. But he couldn't do too much still. Well, Lori purchased on Amazon a wedding ring using Charles' watermark, using Charles' account. And this wedding ring was purchased 17 days before the death of guess who? The death of the author of the book's wife, before the death of Chad's wife named Tammy. To look a little bit into Chad's Daybell's life. So he was born on August 11, 1968. He married Tammy on March 9th, 1990. He graduated from university in 1992, and he studied journalism, but he worked as a grave digger, among other jobs. In 2004, he, together with his wife, founded Spring Creek Book Company, which he used to publish his books about the end of everything, and other religious books. He had also told everyone that he had had some near-to-death experience about 2 of them. In 2015, he claimed he heard a voice telling him to move. So, he and Tammy moved to Rexburg from Springville, Utah in June 2015. On October 9, 2019, Tammy posted on her Facebook page something really, really strange, really bizarre. She wrote that she had been shot while she was in her driveway by a man wearing a mask, and that person could never be found. But still. But 10 days later, Tammy was found deceased in her home. And it was supposed that it was from natural causes. Chad claimed that she had retired the night before, very early, because she had a really bad cough, and that she died in her sleep. But Tammy was in her 40s, she was strong, and she was really healthy. An autopsy was performed, but the results were completed by February 2021, and they have never been made public, so we don't know if there was something wrong or it was just something natural, but I doubt profoundly. Remember that Lori had already bought her wedding ring, so Tammy's faith had been sealed. Remember that Lori had 2 children in her care, Tylee, who was born on September 24th, 2002, and JJ, who was born on the 25th of May, 2012. These 2 disappeared, vanished. Her children vanished. Tylee was 16 and JJ was only 7. The last images of JJ playing with a friend is a video from September 2019, and it is the last known video of him. His last confirmed sighting was at Rexburg's elementary school. On September 24th, 2019, Lori called the school to let them know that she was going to homeschool JJ, so she was withdrawing him from classes. Tylee was last seen in September 2019 at the Yellowstone National Park with her brother JJ, her mother Lori, and her uncle Alex Cox, Lori's brother. In October 2019, 2 payments were made from Tylee's account to her older half-brother Colby. One payment was sent on October 10th with a message, and the second payment was sent on October 16th with a heart emoji. Colby has said that he had not heard from Tylee since these texts. After repeated calls to Tylee, calls that left an answer, Colby started to become really worried. But their mother was not worried at all. She was living her life. So Lori married her husband number 5, named Chad, in Hawaii on November 5th, 2019. Only 2 weeks after the death of Chad's wife, Tammy. They told everyone that Lori had no minor children. But JJ's grandparents were really worried because they really loved JJ. And they went directly to the police. And on November 26, police visited Lori's house. That night a neighbor saw Lori and Alex, the brother, packing things and putting them on a truck outside Lori's home. When the police really arrived the next day to search the home looked as if it had been abandoned. From December 2019 to January 2020, the police and the FBI intensified the investigation into the disappearances of the 2 children, as well as the investigation into Tammy's death and the fight of Chad and the flight of Chad and Lori. They collected evidence. They exhumed poor Tammy for autopsy. JJ's grandparents, together with Colby, even offered a reward. But nothing happened. So there were a lot of theories, taking into account the fact that Lori believed in the end of the world and was part of some sort of cult. Some people believe that she protected her children and took them and hid them somewhere safe into some sort of bunker or very safe location. And for a very long time people hoped that these 2 children are alive and safe and protected by their mother. Lori completely refused to assist the investigation. She chose to leave the state with her new husband. Authorities found in Rexburg a storage locker which had been abandoned, but that locker had been previously rented by Lori in October 2019. Inside that locker they discovered things belonging to Tylee and JJ, clothes, bikes, toys, photographs, things that had been abandoned when Lori suddenly left at the end of November 2019. Neighbors also said that she took JJ's toys and clothes and stuff and put them outside with a note that it was for free. She was donating those things. Video footage shows her and her brother Alex moving those things in and out the locker. And suddenly people started to believe that something really bad happened to the children, because if she had taken them to a safe place, she would have taken also their belongings, the things that they would have needed. And remember that JJ, poor little boy, needed special care. On February 20, 2020, Lori was arrested and charged with 2 felony counts. She was accused of non-supporting her children. She was also accused of resisting and obstructing officers. On March 24, 2020, there were also people who were telling that they had heard Lori talking about her children as being turned into zombies. So they were not light beings like her. On June 9th, 2020, police executed a search warrant at Chad's home, where they discovered human remains in a pet cemetery. Chad was booked into jail later that day, and he was later charged with murder. On June 10, on the 10th of June 2020, it was confirmed that the human remains found on Chad's property were those of Tylee and JJ. So it was confirmed by the families, and later on officially confirmed by the police on June 30th. So the children are no longer considered missing. And now the investigation is focused on determining the circumstances surrounding their death. So Lori had been telling a lot of lies. Every time the police questioned the children's mother, Lori, about the children's whereabouts, Lori and Chad claimed that JJ was staying with a friend in Arizona. But when the police called that friend, she told the police that JJ was not with her and had not been there for several months. Moreover, friend went to the police and said that Lori had asked her to lie to the police. And she refused. So this was my sad story for today. It's not concluded yet, and you probably know from the TV what is going on. But in my opinion, these two are so guilty. So let me know in the comments below what you think. And if you liked my story, please don't forget to leave a comment, drop a like, or even consider subscribing if you're not subscribed yet. Thank you very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.